Hey guys, it's Universe here. I'm back with a review, and today guys, I'm back once again for another review video. So today guys, we're doing another different review today because today guys, we're not reviewing one, not two, we're reviewing 3 movies today in one video. Yes guys, I'm literally doing a triple movie review, which is going to be the first one I've done on my channel. So the movies I'm going to be reviewing today are going to be the live-action remake for How to Train Your Dragon from the world of John Wick, Ballerina, and M3GAN 2.0, which, guys, I did watch both those movies yesterday. I watched them with both Trixton and Gamerboy, and honestly, both movies were pretty good. Now, but there is going to be one thing I'm going to do, guys, so how I'm going to review this video, or review these movies, is I'm not going to go over every single detail like how I did with Sonic 3, Mufasa, Lion King, and the Minecraft movie. I'm only going to be doing, talk about, the stuff that stood out to me, and just, the interesting parts only. Because if I were to do a full review on the entirety of these movies, we would literally be here for, 2 hours, honestly. So, I'm not going to be doing as much reviews of the whole movies, so that way kind of, minimize the runtime of this video. And also, another quick thing, guys, I will not be reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth as a fourth one because I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to watch it later tonight with Jack Rex, and you guys can probably expect my review either tomorrow or the day after or sometime next week, but I'm not too sure, guys, because I might be a bit too busy. But without further ado, guys, let's get right into this review on these 3 movies. And again, guys, fair warning, there will be spoilers in this, so again, if you guys have not watched any of these 3 movies, click off the video now and go watch them and come back when you've seen them. But if you have watched all of them, then feel free to stick around. So to start this review, guys, we'll start off with the live-action remake for How to Train Your Dragon. So to start off for this movie review on the live-action remake for How to Train Your Dragon, I'm just going to start off by saying that this is literally how you do a live-action remake for a movie. Disney does not know how to do live-action remakes anymore, but DreamWorks, I could tell they easily knew what they were doing. So the thing was, this movie, I will say the animated one is still the best one, but the live action remake, it was done alright. So I guess to start off, I'm going to start off by talking about the dragons, the best part of the movie. So the designs for the dragons, they weren't too bad. They did pretty well. Toothless, first of all, was of course the best one in the whole movie. The details were literally so good. It literally looks like they took Toothless from the animated, they used the animated Toothless design, and then they just modified him to look a bit more live action. That's what it looks like. Mostly the eyes on him is what really stood out to his design of him in live action, which I really did like about him. And they did also, of course, reuse the same sound effects from the animated one, so that was a good thing they did. And then there's Gronkle, what's the big fat one. His design, it was good, but it was not really anywhere close to his animated counterpart. His head looked more it was more Rhino-like in appearance. But other than that, he looked alright. It was pretty decent. And then the hideous Zippleback was also okay too. It looked alright. They tried their best for it. The Deadly Natter, aka Stormfly, a little bit better than the other ones. I mean, it wasn't entirely accurate to the animated one, but they tried. And then the Terrible Terror was probably, in my opinion, the weakest one because it was more chameleon-like. It looked like a chameleon, but they modified it to look like a dragon. But it still looked pretty cool. And then Hook Fang, aka the Monstrous Nightmare, pretty badass looking, but the head is what didn't really stand out to how it looks in the animated one. So, but it looked still badass though. I loved the design of it nonetheless. And then, of course, the big girl, the Red Death, which was literally the bestest part of the whole freaking movie. The Red Death, they completely changed the design. They had, it have more red, to be hence the name Red Death, because in the animated one, it only had, red speckles on its body. And no doubt, they did definitely make the Red Death in this movie a whole lot bigger than in the animated one. It literally was, kaiju-sized. Holy crap, that part was the whole part of the whole movie with showing when the Red Death first showed up. I was holy shit, that's big. And now I guess to start off, move on to is the human characters. So the human characters were pretty enjoyable. Hiccups, actor, did pretty good. I mean, yeah, it was alright. Stoic's actor, who was the same one from the animated version, was of course fire as usual. This is kind of the second time they bring back a OG actor to play in a live-action remake, because the first one was James Earl Jones in the live-action remake for The Lion King, when they brought him back to voice Mufasa. So in this movie, they brought back Stoic's actor to play Stoic in the live-action remake. And then also, Fish Legs, he was also pretty cool. And fun fact, if you guys didn't know, he actually was played by an actor who starred as that one dude with the glasses from Godzilla vs. Kong. He actually was in this movie, which I found to be pretty interesting and pretty unique how they brought in a GVK actor for a How to Train Your Dragon movie. So that was pretty cool. And Ashton was also pretty cool too. Like, even though the one thing they could have done, maybe they could have like dyed her hair like blonde to look like accurate to Astrid from the animated one. But nonetheless, she was portrayed not that bad. So yeah, for the human characters, they were pretty good. The dragons are pretty cool. Now for like the moments in the movie. So like I said, the animated one, a lot of stuff was different. I mean, there were, I guess, like a few slight flaws, but I can definitely see that DreamWorks did at least try the best they could into making the movie like stay as true as it could to the animated one. Like, for example, in the scene when Hiccup frees Toothless from like the trap, they definitely like mimicked the animated version, like how when Toothless like pins Hiccup down to the ground and then he roars in his face, they used the exact same sounds from the animated one, which I did like right there. And the music, though, they did reuse the same music from the animated one because I forgot the composer, but they brought back the same composer from the original to do the soundtrack for the live-action one, which I found that to be very good, how they brought back an OG music composer. Well, again, like I said, it shows that DreamWorks is definitely trying their best to stay true to the original, which I do appreciate. Because even Disney can't really do that nowadays, which really sucks. Now, for some flaws, I will say that one is the part when Hiccup like is with the 4 terrible terrors, and then the part when Toothless shoots the fireball in one of its mouth, and he's like, huh, not so fireproof on the inside, are you? Which was a bit stupid because that was to play a key role in the final part in the movie when Toothless shoots the Red Death in the mouth and kills it because they're not fireproof on the inside. And speaking of the Red Death, what was really cool was how it died, actually, because it was a little bit different than how it was in the animated. Like, what happened was it still, like, crash-landed, like, fell face-first into the ground and exploded, but instead of falling face-first into the ground, it fell face-first into the volcano, and then the whole thing just exploded, which was literally, like, a more gruesome death for the Red Death right there. So I was like, holy crap, that was crazy. And what's something else I can probably talk about? Oh yeah, one other flaw I didn't really like is that they said that this movie was going to be more horror-themed, but to be honest, there was really nothing in this movie that really was, like, horror-themed to it. Like, there wasn't, like, any, like, scary moments or anything that was very terrifying, in my opinion. It still was, like, the original animated How to Train Your Dragon, but just the only thing was, it was live action, and I guess the action was a bit better, honestly. Like, for example, the fight scene between Toothless and Hook Fang, that actually was a little bit better than the original one. That was actually pretty badass. So that was a cool fight scene, and even when everyone was trying to, like, capture Toothless, like, that also was way more intense. And I did like how they actually made Stoic in this movie be, like, more, like, stern or more, like, he was shown, like, he was not messing around at all. And that was pretty cool. And that was kind of terrifying, but I did like that about Stoic in this movie. And what is something else I could probably say about this movie? I think that's really all I'm going to say. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to do the whole movie review because we would literally be here all day. But other than that, honestly, DreamWorks, great job. You guys, you tried your best. It wasn't completely perfect like in the animated one, but I will say you tried the best you could, and I like that. You did try. So for my review on this movie, I'm going to give this movie, I will probably give it maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. I'm probably giving this like a lot of other movies, but that's just my thoughts about this movie. Like, it was a bit okay. I mean, they did a few things that were changed up in this movie, which was pretty cool, like some new additions, but they tried their best to stay true to the original, which was really, I do appreciate it. And I will say, though, that this movie, it definitely has the rights to have a sequel, which I will be excited to see in 2027 when they drop How to Train Your Dragon 2 live action. Because honestly, the first live action one, it definitely has the rights to have a sequel, honestly. So I will look forward to that. So anyways, that was my review on the live-action How to Train Your Dragon. Now to move on to the world of John Wick, Ballerina. So now to start on my review with the new From the World of John Wick Ballerina spin-off movie, I will say this movie had me, Trixie, and Gamer Boy, we were kind of mixed on this movie. But then again, it was still amazing as hell. I love this movie, but in my opinion, I think I would probably prefer John Wick Chapter 4 over this movie. But when we start off with this movie, so I will say the action, though, in this movie was still there. They did amazing with the action. There was a lot of really epic fight scenes, which were very brutal, which we enjoyed every second of. I mean, when does a John Wick film ever fail with the action scenes? When does it ever fail? Never. It never even fails in these movies. And I will be honest, though, it was, of course, nice to see Keanu Reeves and Ian McShane reprise their roles as John Wick and Winston. And throughout the whole movie, literally, Gamer Boy would not shut up about wanting to see Keanu Reeves play John Wick more in this movie. John Wick did appear a few times in this movie, but he wasn't like very frequent because again, it's a spin-off, so it's focused on another character. But other than that, it was still pretty cool. And of course, this was meant to be sort of like a sequel or a mid-equal that takes place between the events of John Wick Chapter 3 and John Wick Chapter 4. So like, for example, that one lady who was like the ballerina teacher, I don't know her name. So guys, I do apologize that I don't know really any of the names of the characters because I'm not too familiar with all the names, so I do apologize. But it was like this woman who was a ballerina teacher that John Wick talked to in the third movie. She had more of a key role in this movie, like she had more to do in this film. And we did see her like talk with John Wick at one point because that shows that it's connected. And what was something else? And of course was cool to see the guy who plays Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead. He played this character named Daniel Pine, who was like the father of this child who gets kidnapped. That the ballerina character, I think it was Evie or Eva. It's one or the other, but I'll call her Eva for now. But she had to like basically, the main plot was years ago when she was a child, her dad was killed by this guy who I think was called the Chancellor. Either that's the main villain or this other dude that she fights, but like he basically was part of this group that killed her father, and then she wants to get revenge on the group of people that murdered him many years ago. And now she also has to try to save Daniel Pine's child, or his daughter, who eventually gets kidnapped when he's presumably killed by the bad people. And what was something else? I'm sorry guys if this come out a little bit weird because I don't really want to review everything, but I'm trying my best to just review what I can. The final battle though was honestly pretty cool. Like it was like a full, like she had like a freaking flamethrower as a weapon and was just torching all the bad guys up. And then the final like start part of the fight where she was fighting like one of the bad guys, she literally was fighting fire with water, like literally. Like so basically the guy had a flamethrower. Like he had a flamethrower, he was shooting at her, and she grabs a water hose and shoots it at the flamethrower. And literally this scene was like literally something out of Godzilla vs. Kong when Godzilla and Mechagodzilla did the beam clash. But it was a legit clash with water and fire. Like when she was spraying the hose at the flamethrower, it was blocking the fire, which I think was very epic. And literally any John Wick movie, I was not thinking we'd see this. Like that's literally something out of an anime film or something else. And John Wick did actually play a role in the final battle briefly, like he was taking out some of the bad guys to help Evie stop the Chancellor. That's really who the villain is in this movie, apparently. That's what it said. But eventually she does end up rescuing Daniel Pine's daughter, and she does get back to him, and we do find out that he actually did survive the gunshot in the earlier start of the movie. So it was nice to see him survive. I mean, then again, you can't kill Daryl Dixon. Well, he's Daniel Pine, but it's Daryl Dixon's voice actor. But yeah, literally, I guess that's all I'm really going to say. I mean, I don't know too much details about the movie because, again, I just watched it yesterday and I kind of have a bit of some bad memory of remembering the full plot of the John Wick films. But other than that, this movie, there were a few, like I said, me and Trixie and Gamer Boy, we were mixed on this. But other than that, it was still great nonetheless. For this movie, I will give this, I think I will, I'll probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10 for this movie. It wasn't terrible, but it was all right though. It was a good movie. So now that movie's out of the way, now for the final movie, M3GAN 2.0. So for my final review on this video for M3GAN 2.0, I'm going to also start by saying this movie was honestly very different from what the first one was. So of course, they did change the style up. Like in the first movie, it was like more horror themed, but in this one, it was full on like action and adventure. Like there was a lot of action scenes. Like M3GAN was of course funny as hell in this movie. Like I did love the part when Gemma put her AI system into like this Teletubby. Bro, the scene when M3GAN was finding like what was going on, when she cussed and said like what the hell is going on, that part had me and Trixton dying so bad, honestly.
What the hell is this?
And she looked kind of cute, that little Teletubby. That was honestly pretty adorable. And I love like her different facial expressions. Like that was pretty funny. And the way she was kind of like trying to tell Gemma and Katie that she's their only shot at stopping Amelia, who's like the villain of this movie, was pretty cool. Like they were forced to like team up, and then they had to like rebuild her in order to help stop Amelia, or help them like stop this. Well, okay, so the thing was, the main like villain of all this is Amelia, but the main human villain is like this company that wants to, I think, like fully use like the technology of AI to kind of like become like the priority in the world or something like that, from what I remember. So I do apologize if I am wrong on that, but they were more like the human villains of this, but the main villain itself was Amelia. And speaking of Amelia, boy oh boy, she was not playing around at all. She was pretty intimidating. Like she was almost probably like up there with the Terminator. She was literally like a female Terminator. Then again, for this being a live action film, there were a few like a bit like unnerving moments. Like there was one scene where there was like this robotic like exoskeleton or something that M3GAN was in, and it literally looked like the Mimic from FNAF Ruin. I'm not even kidding. I'll see if I can try to post a picture right now, but you cannot tell me that this look of M3GAN looks legit like the Mimic. Like it has like the similar teeth, similar eyes. The build of it, like the metal skin on it, is very similar to that of the Mimic. I mean, then again, Blumhouse did make the FNAF movie, and Scott Cawthon, I guess, was kind of part of it, sort of. So maybe they took some inspiration from FNAF Ruin with Stillwell Studios. Maybe Stillwell was secretly involved in this. But I'm just kidding. But it couldn't possibly be the case that maybe they got inspiration from that, because they did. Again, Blumhouse did make the first FNAF movie. And speaking of FNAF, where's the second trailer for the second FNAF movie? I mean, where's the official trailer for the second movie? God damn it. But let me get back on topic. So, like, I will say another thing about M3GAN in this movie. She was a little bit more, like, stern. Like, she was way more, like, serious in tone. Like, she was trying to tell everyone, like, this is all serious. And also, there was one scene where, like, there was, like, a dance scene. Like, I think she was trying to create, like, a distraction or something. Well, something like that. I don't know. But, again, M3GAN was honestly funny in this as hell in this movie, and way less, like, creepy. But that was alright, though. But I can kind of see why some critics are kind of thinking that this movie was kind of a big letdown, because it wasn't really, like, it didn't really stay true to the first one. Like, it was more action and a little bit more goofy. Like, I definitely had this bad feeling, like, when I saw Legend Cobra's review of the movie on his post, saying that M3GAN 2.0 was honestly a very big letdown. But when I asked him on Discord, he said that the movie alone was great, but there was a scene where they were interviewing the characters, and they asked, like, would M3GAN survive FNAF or something like that? And then he told me from what they said, he literally said it was Madam Web and Ruby Gillman all over again. And I was thinking, oh no. So that, I tell you that the movie is terrible, right? But he said, no, the movie was pretty good. So I was like, oh, okay. And other than that, the movie, I will be honest, it was a bit boring at most parts, but there were moments that were pretty good. Like, of course, the final battle scene, I will say the final battle scene kind of dragged on too long to make it up to there. Like, the final battle between M3GAN and Amelia was pretty badass. I was maybe hoping that they could have had, like, a few, like, earlier fight scenes in the movie that would kind of like with Godzilla vs. Kong, like how we had, like, the ocean fight between Godzilla and Kong, and eventually later in the movie they would lead up to the final climax with them in Hong Kong. Like, maybe if they did something like that in this movie, that could have been a little bit better. But there were some other cool fight scenes. Like, we saw, like, M3GAN and Amelia taking on all, like, these like, agents who, like, worked for, like, the company that made Amelia, which, to be honest, they look kind of like Gun Soldier from Sonic 3. But yeah, there was a lot of fight scenes with them fighting those guys. That was pretty cool. The ending, though, was a bit sad. Like, M3GAN had to, like, sacrifice herself in order to, like, shut down Amelia or something like that. which is a little bit sad. But then in the end, she has herself, like, her AI go into, like, this computer, like, paperclip website or something. It was like a program on Gemma's computer. And that was a bit of a heartwarming moment, that M3GAN is sort of still alive, but she made, like, a noble sacrifice, but she was sort of still alive. But yeah, I will, again, M3GAN did actually have a very good redemption arc in this movie. Like, at first, in the first movie, she was kind of programmed to be a good guy, like, to protect Katie. But then a glitch in her system made her go mad, start killing everybody on sight, including Gemma. But in this movie, she was kind of starting to, like, admit that it wasn't really her fault, and that she never really anticipated for any of this to happen. And it did take a while for Gemma to actually trust M3GAN after all the crap she did in the past. But eventually, they do, like, start, like, understanding each other as the movie goes on. And that was pretty good for a movie that is basically supposed to be a horror film franchise, but it soon transitions to action. But I think that's really all I'm going to say for M3GAN 2.0. Again, I'm not going to go over everything. So for this movie, I will give this a 6 out of 10. Just a solid 6 out of 10. Like I said, the movie was a bit boring at times, but I did enjoy some moments in the movie. They at least tried for what they could. It could have been, I can probably see where people want this to stick with being horror themed and not, like, action. But I mean, hey, what does it hurt for, like, a little change of pace? Like, you know what I mean? Like, even in Savor the Multiverse, my Savor the Multiverse series, every episode has a different change of pace. Like, some can be comedy, some can be emotion, some action, and some horror. Like, it never hurts to try and, like, do a new style switch up in movies. But I think what people are getting at is that it's best they try to, like, keep to, like, the same, like, that kind of tone from the original movie. Maybe it's okay if they do, like, a new change of, like, pace, as long as they maybe were to try to, like, put in the same kind of tone from the previous one. If that's what some critics are getting at, okay, that's a bit understandable. I can probably see why some people may have hated this movie. But honestly, to me, I thought it was alright. But I would prefer the first one in every step of the way, honestly. The first movie, in my opinion, is probably the best one. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up for my review on the live-action How to Train Your Dragon from the world of John Wick, Ballerina, and M3GAN 2.0. Both are pretty good movies. I did enjoy watching them. And yes, guys, I will have some versus battles planned, specifically for the How to Train Your Dragon movie. Like, I definitely will have some versus battles planned with the live-action Red Death. Like, I'm going to be doing Godzilla versus the Red Death, obviously. The live-action Red Death versus Bewilderbeast. Maybe I'll do the animated Red Death versus the live-action one. And for this one, this is if Brandzilla doesn't do this, I will do Skullzilla versus the live-action Red Death. But then again, he did have the live-action Red Death on one of the new posters for his old Skull series, so we'll see that happen, but I don't know. And I will try and do some fight scenes with M3GAN 2.0. I will see what ones I can do. So stay tuned for that, guys, when these movies drop for digital. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end this review right here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more. It would really help out a ton. And I will see you guys in the next video.